It's me, Zayat say, and Zayat leave a sign. Leave it on the cave wall. Maybe as a prayer, maybe a graffiti, we don't know. This was 30,000 years ago. Writing had not been invented, so they couldn't chalk their names on the rock. Instead, they had flattened their hand, blow dust over it, and leave a silhouette like this. And for 30-40 centuries across Europe, Asia, the Americas, and Australia, this is how cavemen, cave women, cave kids, hunters, nomads, farmers, and soldiers left their mark. Every one of these handprints belonged to an individual, presumably with a name, a history, and stories to tell. But without writing, we can't know these stories. We call them hunters-gatherers, cave people, Neolithic tribes. We think of them in groups, never alone. Tens of thousands of generations come and go, and we can't name a single person before 300s to thousands BC, not even. Then, in Mesopotamia, writing appears, and after that people could record their words, sometimes in phonetic symbols, so we could listen in, hear them talking, and for the first time hear someone's name, our first individual. So who was it? Who is the first person in the recorded history of the world whose name we know? Just guessing here. Would it be a she or a he? I am figuring a he because writing was a new thing and males are usually the early adapters. Would he be a king, warrior, poet, merchant, commoner? I am guessing not a commoner. To be mentioned in an ancient document, he had need a reputation, tools, and maybe a scribe. He wouldn't be poor. Would he be a person of great accomplishment or just an ordinary Joe? The odds favor a well-regarded person, someone who is mentioned often. Regular Joes, I figured, would pop up irregularly, while a great king, a leading poet, or a victorious general would get thousands of mentions. So I trawled the internet, read some books, and to my great surprise, the first name in recorded history isn't a king, not a warrior or a poet. He was, it turns out, an accountant. In his new book, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, Yuval Noah Harari goes back 33 centuries before Christ to a 500-year-old clay tablet found in Mesopotamia, modern Iraq. It has dots, brackets, and little drawings carved on it and appears to record a business deal. It's a receipt for multiple shipment of barley. The tablet says very simply, 2986 measures barley, 37 months cushion. The most probable reading of this sentence, Harari writes, is a total of 2986 measures of barley were received over the course of 37 months. Signed Kushim. So who was Kushim? The word might have been a job title, not a person. Maybe Kushim meant barley assessor, but check the video down below. It suggests that Kushim was indeed a guy, a record keeper who counted things for others. In short, an accountant. And if Kushim was his name, then with this tablet, Harari writes, we are beginning to hear history through the ears of its protagonists. When Kushim's neighbor called out to him, they might really have shouted Kushim. It's pretty clear Kushim was not famous, not hugely accomplished, certainly not a king. So all of my hunches were off. But wait, the Kushim tablet is just one of tens of thousands of business records found on the deserts of Iraq. A single example is too random. We need more. So I keep looking and find what might be the second, third, and fourth oldest name we know of. They appear on a different Mesopotamian tablet. Once again, they are not at least ancient, date to around 300 1000 BC, about a generation or two after Kushim. The tablet's heading is two slaves held by Galsal. Galsal is the owner. Next comes the slaves Enpap, X, and Sukalgir. So now we have got four names: an accountant, a slave owner, and two slaves. No kings. They don't show up for another generations or so. The predominance of ordinary Sumerians doesn't surprise Harari. 5,000 years ago, most humans on Earth were farmers, herders, and artisans who needed to keep track of what they owned and what they owed, and that's how writing started. It was a technology for regular people, not a megaphone for the powerful. It is telling, Harari writes, that the first recorded name in history belongs to an accountant rather than a prophet, a poet, or a great conqueror. Most of what people did back then was business. Kings come, kings go, but keeping track of your barley, your sheep, your money, your property, that's the real story of the world.